Chris Godinez, licensed professional counselor, also the host of We Need to Talk on every Sunday at noon, and then I post it up to Facebook. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. The views and opinions stated herein are mine and mine alone. They do not represent the ACA, the APA, or any other therapist for that matter. Boom, shakalaka done. I would like to thank my sponsor, BetterHelp, BetterHelp, BetterHelp.com/Chris Godinez. They're an online therapy company. They are international. So if you are anywhere in the world and you need to get to a therapist, go to BetterHelp.com/Chris Godinez. They'll have you fill out some questions and they'll set you right up with somebody here in the US of A that is licensed, professional, master's level or PhD level. So thank you, BetterHelp.com/Chris Godinez. Okay. Let's dive into the questions. So Salt Lake City was a huge amount of fun. I had an absolute blast. It was great seeing you guys. It was so fun talking to you. I really enjoyed it. It was so funny because this was like the first time in 2 years that I've seen and hugged people that were not family. So it was like, oh my God, hi. And I'm like hugging them and they're like, oh, you give really good hugs. And I'm like, I have not hugged anybody in 2 years. So yeah, this is so nice to get back out and be with people. It's awesome. We are pack animals, man. We definitely need each other. We do, if we're healthy. So, so there that is. Anyway, so Salt Lake City was a huge amount of fun. The next one is going to be in Santa Barbara at the end of May. So go to chrisgodinez.com and go look for events or shop. It's under there somewhere. So it's on the page somewhere. So Santa Barbara is next. And I still have tickets left for that, but they are starting to go. So that was kind of cool. So then, and then the month after that will be Sacramento. Apparently I'm doing all the S's in a row. So like Salt Lake City, Santa Barbara, Sacramento. So anyway, so those are all still available. And I'm going to try to figure out where I'm going in July. I was going to go to, Prescott, but they've been on fire lately. So I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to do that because I'm not sure what's going on with those guys. So, anyway, there is that. I'll figure out where I'm going in July soon. So, all right, let's hit the questions. My abuser got an honest to God real cancer diagnosis. I feel guilty. Should I reach out to him? No. Just because you're cancer. That's a hello, Freudian slip showing. Just because your abuser got cancer, don't reach out to them. They're not going to change. That is not going to be a big enough whap upside the head for them to go, oh, maybe I shouldn't be such a jerk, So you can feel compassion for them. Wow, sucks that they have cancer, not surprised because the way they act, the way they behave, the way they, it's not surprising. So, you can have compassion for them. Sucks that you have cancer, but don't reach out to them because they're going to latch onto that Hoover. And the next thing you know, you're going to be drugged back by the guilt. And you're going to be drugged back by the I need to take care of them, the codependency. We talked about this. So no, absolutely do not reach out to them. So they have cancer. Well, that's too bad. And not your problem. Not your problem. You can wish them well from afar. So this is the difference between compassion and idiot compassion. Idiot compassion is where we go, oh my God, they're suffering. I need to have them in my life so I can stop them suffering. What? No. You know what I'm going with that? So, excuse me, I'm still all choked up. Compassion is where you can go, they've got cancer. That's terrible for them. I'm going to pray to Saint Raphael, or I'm going to pray to God, or I'm going to pray to Buddha, or I'm going to pray to whatever, and wish them well, literally. I wish them well. But don't break the no contact. You will regret it. Trust me on that one. And even though you say it's an honest to God diagnosis of cancer, unless you've seen the paperwork, you can't be sure of that because if their lips are moving, they're lying. And I can't tell you the number of times I've seen abusers, specifically narcissistic abusers, dark triad, antisocial abusers, do the whole, oh, I'm dying here. And they're not, So, or they got a diagnosis of something that's treatable, so yeah, don't fall for the medical Hoover. If you're having guilt about this, my suggestion would be to write and burn a letter to the guilt. Absolutely. I'm so sorry. Anyway, so write and burn a letter to the guilt. Absolutely. Write and burn a letter to the guilt. But do not reach out to them. Absolutely not. You're begging for trouble. You are. And you'll get sucked into, they'll play it for all it's worth, and you'll get sucked into taking care of them, and that's not your job. So there is that. Okay. Let me check this one off. My abusive parent died, and I don't want to go to the funeral, but the family is pressuring me. Don't go. Don't go. It doesn't matter. So, again, our society has got such a weird idea about death. It really does. It doesn't handle abuse. It doesn't recognize or acknowledge abuse. It doesn't recognize or acknowledge that death comes to us all. We've got some weird ideas about death. The more dysfunctional the family is, the weirder the ideas about death there are. So there's a lot of this whole, oh, you can't speak ill of the dead. Oh, watch me, mother clucker. Watch me. And I have yet to have my dead father come back, because I'd give him an earful and he'd know it. So, you know what I'm saying? So it's like we have this whole thing about, oh no, you cannot speak ill of the dead. Oh, you have to respect the dead. Well, they were not respectful in life. Why in the bleep would I go and honor them because they're dead? No, and thank you. Do you see where I'm going with that? So if the family is pressuring you, you just basically got to say, I'm not going. And this is the end of the discussion. And if you don't drop it, we're done. Boundary, 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 boundary. These are flying monkeys, people. So, it's just like, how do I explain this? When my dad died, my middle sister did not handle it well at all. My older sister and I did, because we've been in therapy forever and a day, and we'd been working through it, and we knew he was going to die at some point. So we'd been preparing ourselves more or less. When he died, and I talk about it in my book, What's Wrong with Your Dad? When he died, my sister insisted on going to view his body. I had no interest. I didn't want to see him in a casket for a couple of reasons. One, I hate that the last image I have of my grandmother that I loved is lying in a casket. And I'm like, oh, God, I'll never do that again. I'll go to memorial services until the cows come home, because they've got pictures of them alive, and they've got picture of them happy, and they've got, stories about things that they did, and, funny things that make you laugh and cry and the whole thing. But I hate the idea of going and staring at an empty shell that's not the person. It's the vessel in which the person was living in, but it's not the person. And I didn't like my dad anyway. So the last thing I'd want to do is go stand in front of his dead body and pretend that I'm sad. No, thank you. I'm a little too genuine for that. No, thank you. Because more than likely what I do would be like flipping him off. You know what I'm saying? And that would have just upset my sister horribly. So, I just, for the safety and comfort of everybody, I told her no. Well, she had a fit, and she insisted, you're going to come with me. You have to. No, biatch. All I got to do is pay taxes and die. That's it. I'm not going back to see his body. Thank you. And finally, my older sister, thank God, she volunteered. She was like, I'll go with you. And I'm like, thank you. Because, and my middle sister was damned and determined that she was going to make me go do it. And I'm like, you can't make me do anything, honey. Have you met me? So that's what you're going to have to be like with your family. It's like, I'm not going, period. Read my lips. What are my lips saying? Watch my lips, not effing going. Respect that, biatch. Seriously, don't you even. This is a deal breaker. You break this, you cross this line, we are done. I am not talking to you if you keep pushing this. We're done. And then be done. Because they don't respect you. What's the number one thing on your list of deal breakers should be, are they disrespecting you? Hello, I'm throwing things off my desk. Are they disrespecting you? If they're disrespecting you, be done. Because they're showing you who they are. Does that make sense? So yeah, don't put up with that crap. You draw your boundary, you be strong, and you stick to the word no, and the next two words, and I mean it, 3 words. And I mean it. No, and I mean it. I am not going. Respect that. You have a problem with it, that's your problem. I am fine not going. Do you see where I'm going with that? So you're going to have to be really strong in your boundary, because disordered families, like I said, have got a lot of weird ideas about death. They've got a lot of weird ideas about the person who died, and they want everyone to conform to this weird way of mourning, and you don't have to. And like I said, not every death is a boo-hoo-hoo. It's not. If your abuser dies, it's usually more of a thank God. You know, because I know when my dad died, and I've talked about this before, my mom and I were like, oh, thank God he's gone. Because now we don't have to worry about, you know, what idiocy is he going to pull publicly next? Or what idiocy is he going to pull with the family next? You know, it's like I said, the reason I got the title of my book, What's Wrong with Your Dad, is because a total stranger walked up to me in my hometown of Gridley, California, and said, oh, you're so-and-so's daughter. What's wrong with your dad? And I'm like, first of all, who asked that question? Really, sweetie? You know, and second of all, it's like, well, you got 4 hours? And I laughed and I walked out. You know, so yeah, it's a relief when the abuser dies, because they are inappropriate and prone to stupid behavior. And yeah, it's a total relief. So don't feel guilty about it. When your abuser dies, and if your first reaction is, oh, thank God, join the club. You're not alone. You are so not alone. Almost all of us have had that reaction. So anyway, I hope that answers that question. Oh, really quickly. One of my clients said that she found a inner child workbook that she really, really liked. And it was by Lucia Capaccioni, Capacioni, I think. So it's Lucia Capcaloni. I think I spelled it wrong. Oh, darn. Anyway, it's a workbook for inner children. And so you write down the issue with, you know, happening in the adult with your prominent hand. And in the other hand, it's the non-dominant hand, you write out what the kid would say. And she said it was amazing. She said she had so much come up doing that. So give it a shot. You know, if you don't like the Catherine Taylor book, go find a workbook that's inner child that you like. So I just wanted to say that. Okay. Why isn't it safe to do therapy with an abuser? Oh my God. Okay. Abusers never take responsibility for anything. Not even in a therapy session. Not even when a therapist is going, and what's your part in this? You know, not even when the therapist is going, do you see your part in this? You have a part in this. What they'll do is they will pitch a fit, tell the therapist that they don't know what they're doing, that they're incompetent, that they're this, that they're that, the you guns, and then they stand up and walk out. Okay. They don't take responsibility for anything. And what will happen is you, as the spouse or the child or whatever, will go into the therapy session with good intentions and want to work things out. And you'll say, here's all the problems. Here's what's happened. Here's what was said. And I can guarantee you they're going to interrupt you the whole time because they don't want their stuff being aired. And secondly, they're going to then, after the session is over, corner you in the parking lot and start yelling at you, how dare you bring this up? And you lied about that. And you. They are not ever, listen to me now, believe me later, going to take responsibility. Ever. Therapy isn't a solution. People have this idea that if they go to therapy with their abuser, that the abuser is suddenly, the clouds will part, the light comes down, they'll have a holy epiphany. No, they're not going to. The only thing they're going to know is how to abuse you better, because you will have said everything that's hurting you in therapy, and they're going to go file away, use at a later date. That's what they do. So that's why I'm saying, if you go to therapy with a spouse, and if at any point, they start bringing stuff up that you brought up in good faith, And in all honesty, like, this is a problem in our relationship and we need to work on it. And they start bagging on you and make you wrong for it and put you down and, how dare you, and this, that, and the other thing. You run. Do not walk to the nearest exit. Get the hell out. Abusers don't change, guys. They don't. And therapy is not some magic potion that's going to make the abuser wake up. There is nothing, literally nothing, not even death on the face of this planet that will make an abuser wake up. Their egos are too great and they're too invested in being right, and they will not change. They won't. They absolutely won't. So you've got to let that one go. But don't go to therapy with an abuser. It's dangerous. It's dangerous because you're handing them ammo that they're going to use against you at a later time. Abso-freaking-lutely. If they've got a diagnosis of NPD, ASPD, no, absolutely not. Don't do it. It's going to hurt you. It is. Because they're manipulative and they will not change. They do not change. In all the years I've done this, I've never heard of a case of a narcissist that changed. Really. Like, really changed. Like, stopped being manipulative, stopped lying, stopped cheating, stopped, conning people, stopped, it doesn't happen. Doesn't happen. All right. I hope that answered the question. It's not safe because they'll use it against you. They will. And now they know what hurts you and they'll do it more. That's because they're sadistic. So as they get further down the spectrum, as they go from traits of to, further and further down, they become sadistic. They enjoy it. They enjoy inflicting pain because it makes them feel powerful. It's all about power and control with them. It's never about hearing the other person or understanding the other person. It's not about the other person. We have no more meaning to them than this pen. We are to be used. We are an object. That's all we are to them. That's all we are to them. And you've got to remember that. So that's why you don't go to therapy with an abuser. Ever. They're not going to change. They are not going to change. I'm working with some people right now that are desperate to stay in the relationship and keep saying, but. And I'm like, stop. Just stop. They're not going to change. They may be going through the motions right now because they've been caught red-handed. Second they do one of those behaviors, get out. Get out, because that means they're not sorry and they're not working on it. So there it is. Don't go to therapy with an abuser. Okay. Core wounds. How do I heal core wounds? Okay. Core wounds are things that happen to us when we're little, like itty bitty babies. So that's why it's a great idea to get a inner child workbook of any kind. I don't care which one. Go get one. Start working it. The core wounds happen when we get mistaken thoughts and mistaken beliefs that were shoved at us by the parents, right? Or the caregivers, whoever the caregivers were. So core wounds are like your self-esteem. You don't believe you're worthy. You don't believe you're worth it. You don't believe you're, a good person. You don't believe that, you deserve happiness. You don't believe that you can be successful. You don't believe, fill in the blank. So core wounds are what happens to us when we're itty bitties, little itty bitties. So get the Inner Child Workbook, either by Catherine Taylor or the one by Lucia Cappuccilani. First three letters of her last name are C-A-P. So Lucia, C-A-P, whatever the last part of her name is. And go start working those because they will help you process what the little kid felt and believes and what the adult believes and kind of integrate those. Working on reparenting yourself, doing the mirror work absolutely helps with core wounds because we have to reparent ourselves. We have to look in the mirror and go, hi, good to see you. Have a great day. I give you permission to like yourself. I give you permission to enjoy life. I give you permission to be happy, because we didn't get that from the abuser. The abusers are not happy ever. They don't like it when anybody else is happy. They ruin any good times, birthdays, holidays, anniversaries. If it's not about them, they're going to ruin it. That's what they do. And so we get the message very quickly that it's not okay to be happy, or it's not okay to have a good holiday, or it's not okay to fill in the blank. So you want to start doing the mirror work. You want to start doing the inner child work. You want to start addressing the little kid inside of you. Hey, little one, you are worth it. You are lovable. You are awesome. Like, seriously. So that's what you want to do. You want to do the mirror work to talk to that inner child and help that inner child understand mom, dad, caregivers, whoever they were, lied to you. You don't need to believe them, and you don't need to do the self-fulfilling prophecy. Just because they said you're going to be a loser in your life doesn't mean you have to. Oh yeah, think about it. Narcissists don't want their kids to do well unless it makes them look good. If they can, take credit for it and say, oh, my child, me, right? Me, I, more my genitals. So yeah, they'll do that. But usually what they do is they sabotage so the kid can't be better than them. So yeah, so you want to work on those core wounds with one of the inner child workbooks, either the Catherine Taylor one or the Lucia Capaccioni, Capaccioni. That's her name. Lucia Capaccioni. That's it. I knew I spelled it wrong. So anyway, that's it. So get one of those two, or one that speaks to you. Find a inner child workbook that absolutely, speaks to you, and start working it. Seriously. So that's how you work on the core wounds. How do I talk to my kids about death? Okay. Honest, open and honest. It is a part of life, and you just age appropriate. If they ask, tell them about it. So for example, Humpty Dumpty is basically a children's poem about death. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All of the king's horses and all of the king's men could not put Humpty together again. So that's basically saying when somebody has a catastrophic accident or has a catastrophic illness, they're not always able to fix them, kind of thing. And it makes me sad, and it makes the kids sad, and it'll make you sad. But guess what? This is life. We don't get out of this place alive. We don't. We're not immortal. And that's probably a good thing. So, you know what I'm saying? So you just be open and honest and age appropriate. Age appropriate. So, for example, when I was a kid, like a little kid, probably, I'm guessing 5, my family would take ski vacations. We would go up into the Sierras and we would ski. And there was a grave of a pioneer girl, and I think she died when she was 12. And I always wanted to visit it. It was so bizarre. It's like I always wanted to go pay my respects or go visit the grave or whatever. And I remember being really confused and really curious. And I remember asking my mom, I'm like, well, so she was 12. So when you die, do you keep growing? What happens? Because I was 5. I didn't quite get it. So mom had to have an honest talk about, no, when you die, all your cells stop, everything stops, you don't grow, your consciousness leaves, that kind of, she really broke it down in a way that I could understand. So you just be age appropriate. And we talked about Humpty Dumpty too. So you just be age appropriate and answer their questions. Don't make it like it's some kind of, oh, we can't talk about death. Well, yeah, you can, because it's going to happen. Kids are going to end up seeing cemeteries. They're going to end up going to funerals. They're going to, memorial services are better. But you know what I'm saying? So you just be open and honest and age appropriate and answer their questions. That was the biggest thing for me, is I had a whole bunch of questions. I'm like, but I don't understand. And she had to talk about decomposition, the body breaks down and it's just a skeleton and, all of these kind of things. So you talk about it open and honestly and age appropriately. Don't over go into it, because that's the big mistake all adults make, is they over explain things. And the poor kid is sitting there going, I don't understand. So you keep it age appropriate. You keep it short. You answer their questions directly. So yeah. So when adults start doing the whole, oh, we don't want to talk about that, then the kid is going to get some real fears around death. You know what I'm saying? That's a great way to screw your kid up. With anything, with anything, you're going to be open and honest and age appropriate and directly answer whatever questions come up. Don't hide it from them. Death happens. I think, Disney movies, the movie that upset me the most as a kid was Bambi when the mom died, and I remember being out in the lobby just hysterically crying because I couldn't imagine being stuck with my dad, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, so I mean that's a great opportunity to talk about death. That's a great opportunity to talk about, whatever. So answer their questions. Don't shy from it. It's the same thing when kids start asking about sex. Age appropriate, not oversharing or not over talking it, but directly answering their questions so that they're not confused. So yeah, that's a really good way to do it. Okay, my ex is not taking. Oh, wait a minute. My ex is not. Oh, okay. My ex is not taking the kids to their appointments and not giving them their medications. What do I do? You talk to your attorney, you document if you need to, you call CPS, but talk to an attorney. Because if he or she is doing it on their time and they're not taking them to doctor's appointments, that's a neglect issue. So, and I would talk to an attorney about that. I absolutely would. If they're not giving them the meds, again, that's a health and safety issue. So talk to the attorney, see what they say. And this is a sticky wicket because this happens so often, it's not even funny. The ex will intentionally withhold medications or intentionally not take the kids to the doctor because they're trying to hurt the spouse or the ex-spouse. So you're going to want to get an attorney involved. You're going to definitely want to get a second set of eyes, third set of eyes on this. So speak to an attorney, talk about maybe getting what is it called? Special interest attorney or somebody, advocacy for the kids so that the kids have got an advocate. So, and if the kids are old enough to say, yeah, they're not giving me my meds, I'm not going to my appointments, that would be helpful. So document, talk to an attorney. That's the best thing you can do. And it's so stupid. I hate the fact that we live in a world where abuse is not taken seriously. The family court system is a joke. They try to put families back together that shouldn't be put back together. They insist on parenting time with a parent that could give two rats' asses about their kid. It's a problem. And we need to start writing, politicians, your lawyers, your senators, your whatever, and start saying, hey, this needs to be changed. Because it does need to be changed. It's absolutely ridiculous. All right. What makes an abuser go the communal cult route? Okay. Abusers will do whatever works, and they learn from watching, okay? So if they notice that, the cult thing is working for other abusers, they'll go that route. Basically what it is that abusers will do and say whatever they need to do and say to get the power and the control. If it looks like going the religious route is going to get them their ego, what they want, that's the route they do it. If it looks like being the covert narcissist, meaning the victim, oh, poor me, you never write, you never call, I do all of this for you, and it gets them the sympathy they're looking for that their ego needs, they'll do that. If being a blustering, overbearing, overt gets them what they need when they intimidate people, they'll do that. So basically, they go whichever route is going to feed the ego the best. So that's how they go the communal route. Okay, we are just about out of time, so you guys have a great week. I finally figured out what I'm talking about. When friends and family show you who they are. So we're going to be talking about flying monkeys. But I can't name it flying monkeys because YouTube has a tendency to come unglued over that. So when friends and family show you who they are, that's what we're going to talk about, what to do. There's going to be grief there. There's going to be anger. There's going to be betrayal. There's going to be shock. There's going to be a whole bunch of stuff. So we're going to talk about when friends and family show you who they are. All right, my loves, you guys go have a great day, and I will talk to you on Sunday. Bye.